Back in San Francisco, mostly cloudy skies, temperatures in the mid-50s. And the wind beginning to pick up a little bit as the day goes on. And of course, that's par for the course out here on Candlestick Point. Pete Carroll knows all about San Francisco. Born and raised here over in Marin County. Without Mike Williams, Ben Obamanu, and Chester Pitts today, he does have John Carlson back. And Colin Cole has not played in 5 weeks. For Mike Singletary, his team and his job very much on the line this final month of the year. A loss today, they're eliminated from reaching the playoffs. And he feels like Alex Smith gives them their best chance to win.
Well, they're going to do some things offensively today to spread it out. They're without Frank Gore. They feel like they're going to have to throw the ball to win the game. And we're going to see a lot of personnel groupings and possibly a lot of throws by Alex Smith.
The always dangerous Ted Ginn Jr. set to receive the kickoff. Seattle won the toss, the third to the second half. And Ginn from the 1. And he's wrapped up and dropped by Jordan Babineau right at the 25-yard line. And here comes Alex Smith, the #1 pick out of Utah in 2005, making his 8th start of the year, a 1-6 record in the front 7 outings.
Well, in this offense, obviously the key guy for them is Vernon Davis. They've got to get the ball into this gifted tight end's hands. And this offensive line of the 49ers had better be prepared for multiple nickel pressures by this Seattle group.
Throw it on first down. Try to set up a screen, and it was read beautifully by Seattle on defense. And Smith just threw it in the ground. Seahawks, we mentioned, have Colin Cole back after missing the last 5 games with an injured ankle. David Hawthorne coming on strong here the last 5 weeks.
And we're going to see not only this group of DBs, but every DB up today, because again, Seattle very aggressive with their nickel dime. We may even see 7 DBs in the game at some time.
Short drop. Tough throw there. He had an eye on Vernon Davis, and man, the Bluebirds are out right from the start. The first 2 plays from scrimmage, and extremely vocal about the way they feel about this game starting on offense.
Well, the first play, Alex Smith did the right thing. The screen was dead. Seattle was all over it, so he put it into the dirt, and the fans didn't care. They just think Alex Smith, they've seen enough of Alex Smith. They're not sure he's going to be their guy in the future.
So 3rd down and 10. See, the opening possession has certainly been one of the few bright spots offensively for this 49er team this year. Blitz coming. Smith finds Davis. And those boos turn to cheers. He's up to midfield.
Well, Vernon Davis, particularly on 3rd down, he's going to be the go-to guy for Alex Smith on 3rd down. This is as gifted a receiver at tight end. You're going to see him here at the true tight end position with Delaney Walker outside. Just a little stick route, turn outside. Seattle said they understand that Vernon Davis can take the top off this defense. They're going to give him the underneath stuff. I just don't know if they can give it to him on 3rd down.
Davis coming off a career high 126 receiving yards, including a 66-yard touchdown in the loss at Green Bay. And Westbrook, a gain of 9, got a big block from Moran Norris.
Yeah, this is one of those plays, just a straight ISO play, straight lead up by the fullback with Westbrook in behind. Westbrook filling in for Frank Gore, not only as a running back, but he is the equal of Frank Gore, catching the ball out of the backfield. I expect to see them throw the ball to Westbrook a great deal today.
Spotted at the 44, so a gain of 8 for Westbrook, his first carry of the afternoon. They'll give it to him again. And it's very close to a first down, needed to get right at the 42-yard line.
Mike Singletary went with Alex Smith because he felt like they could open up more of the playbook. Troy Smith new to the team, was not there during training camp, felt like he was going to need the entire playbook. We've already seen more formations and personnel groupings by San Francisco today than we saw in the entire game last week in Green Bay.
See the overall season numbers for Alex Smith. Mentioned a first-round draft pick back in 2005. Started 7 games as a rookie. The following year, he took every snap of that season, threw for 16 touchdowns. Free play, and he finds Davis, who sniffs the end zone. Will the play stand? We wait on the penalty flag.
Offside, number 93.
It is offsides against the defense. The penalty is declined. It is a touchdown to Vernon Davis.
Well, here you're just going to see a simple crossing route. Alex Smith knew he had a freebie. He knew that Seattle jumped offsides. The defense gets collapsed with the crossing route at the top by Crabtree. Vernon Davis probably as easy a touchdown reception as he's had all year long.
For Smith and Davis, they feel like they have good chemistry with one another. Davis has accounted for 19 of Alex Smith's 47 career touchdowns. And a point after is good by Jeff Reed. So boos after 2 plays, lots of cheers thereafter.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Well, you can call it 6 plays, going 74 yards and a touchdown, but really it's 4 plays, because you may remember they had 2 incompleted passes to start that drive, and the 49ers, their first points here at home since week 10 in that thrilling win, overtime win against the Rams. They were shut out at home for the first time in 33 years, their last home game against Tampa Bay. Leon Washington. Good return, one of the game's very best. Brings it out to the 37. And that's where Hasselbeck and company put it in play when we return.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
A 42-yard touchdown reception on the opening possession of the game by Vernon Davis. So now Matt Hasselbeck and the Seahawks get it for the first time, trailing 7-0. And Hasselbeck a pump fake. And then drops it off to Marshawn Lynch, the former Cal Bear star. A gain of 4. Matt Hasselbeck in his 10th season in Seattle, and you see his numbers as a starter. Missed 1 game this year against the Giants after suffering a concussion in Oakland.
You know, and this is a talented group. They're going to have to pick up the slack for being short at wide receiver. And this offensive line, 3 games in a row, they've been able to stay together as a group. That's huge for Seattle.
Golden Tate, the rookie out of Notre Dame. And he has a first down up to the 48-yard line, wrapped up by Takeo Spikes. The Niners play the 3-4 on defense. Spikes had 17 tackles last weekend in Green Bay.
And these 2 safeties, Reggie Smith and Deshaun Golston, one or the other has got to come down aggressively today to build that 8-man box to stop the Seahawks running game.
Lynch bottled up after a gain of a yard. A pleasure to be joined on our crew this week by Chris Myers. Chris, how are you?
Good, Tom and Brian. Of course, in pregame warmups, the Seahawks were trying to do everything they could to get their 2 starting receivers on the field. Now, Mike Williams told me he could run downfield, but that left ankle hurt when he tried to cut, so he inactive along with Ben Obamanu, 20 stitches in that hand. Pete Carroll himself threw him the football. Matt Hasselbeck said it will not affect where or when he's throwing the football against this 49er defense.
There you get a look at what Chris referred to before the game. Pete Carroll playing catch with Obamanu and just unable to go. Same for Mike Williams. That's a big hit.
Well, with these guys gone, they really feel like the second half of the game against Carolina, they pushed the tempo much more. The offensive line liked it. They kept saying, keep bringing it, Matt, keep going. Get this tempo going. We should see very much an up-tempo game by Seattle against the 49ers.
Third down and 8. Batted down and intercepted by Will Herring. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Gibson, I beg your pardon, was making the catch here, the offensive lineman, after it was tipped by Manny Lawson. And so Seattle will have to punt it away.
San Francisco gets very exotic with their nickel package. They call it their magic package. And Matt Hasselbeck knew that he was going to have a very clear-cut idea of where everybody was on third down because of that new, unique defensive alignment by the 49ers.
Ted Ginn Jr. stands back at his own 10. And he'll make the fair catch at the 12-yard line. So after getting a first down on the possession, Seattle punts. Alex Smith and the troops coming back on offense.
Is sponsored by the Dodge Challenger. Visit your local Dodge dealer today. By Pizza Hut. Your favorite plays deserve your favorite pizza. Your favorite's your Pizza Hut. And by Sprint, the Now Network.
'49ers in the opening quarter. A 7-0 lead. We'll start this drive just outside their own 12-yard line. 49ers season hangs in the balance here today. A loss, and they are eliminated from a chance at reaching the playoffs where they've not been since 2002. Rookie Anthony Dixon, who had trouble with his footing in Green Bay and with the cold and the ice. You can understand that last week, and had a few problems initially right there.
And you can see the center of this field has had some wear and tear, the resodding that they've done. We saw Leon Washington slip what might have been a return for a touchdown had he not slipped in the middle of the field. So obviously that soft grass in between the hashes is going to be a bit of a problem.
So many people are still talking about some of the pictures they saw here on Fox, the video about what took place at the Metrodome. If you didn't see it or hear it, take a look and listen. That footage can be seen at foxsports.com. The game has been moved to tomorrow night because of the Metrodome roof collapse. It'll be played at Ford Field in Detroit, and it begins at 7 o'clock.
That's some incredible footage. I'll tell you what, that's spooky to see.
But thank God no one was in there and no one was hurt. After having nearly 2 feet of snow in the greater Minneapolis area, and down goes Smith. There will not be a safety. They're going to mark the ball inside the 2-yard line. Aaron Curry getting his 4th sack of the year.
Well, we talked about the aggressive. Look at all the guys up on the line of scrimmage. We talked about the aggressive nickel pressure package of the Seattle Seahawks. You don't know which of these guys are coming. And now Alex Smith having to hold on to the ball, never having a chance to get it off.
Seattle does get to the quarterback. Seahawks have the 6th most sacks in the NFC. And punting from his own end zone is Andy Lee. Leon Washington dropped at the 48-yard line. So great field position for the Seahawks, who trail 7-0. Dynamite field position for the Seahawks, trailing 7-0. 8:01 to play in the opening quarter from Candlestick Park in San Francisco. Lynch slips to tackle and leaps his way across midfield, is tackled at the 48-yard line. Well, Monday, December the 20th, Fox presents the only game show where you start with $1 million. The hard part is keeping it. 7 questions, $1 million. Will they win it all or watch it go? The $1 million money drop. The week-long event begins Monday, December 20th on Fox.
With the new tax breaks being extended, it's going to be easier to hold on to some of that money.
It's not done yet. Hasselbeck fires a dart to Brandon Stokely, and that's a first down to the San Francisco 39.
Brandon Stokely's been a godsend to Matt Hasselbeck. He's that veteran receiver to go with a very young group of receivers for these Seahawks, and he's been very quickly a guy that Matt Hasselbeck knows he can go to in a key situation. He's so precise with the way he runs his routes. He's always where he's supposed to be when he's supposed to be there.
His last 12 receptions have been good enough for first down yardage. Dion Butler picks up close to 3 to the 36-yard line. Second time this year that Butler's carried it.
Seattle's gotten into a nice rhythm right now between the running game and the passing game. They had a nice exchange. Their defense held San Francisco to a 3-and-out. Jeremy Bates, as he calls it, spinning the play calling sheet, trying to come up with the right call.
Blitz coming. Hasselbeck gets it away. And down the middle of the field to the 22-yard line, it's Chris Baker.
Chris Baker's been a nice addition for them. Their #1 tight end, John Carlson's been a little dinged up. There's a 50-plus catch guy the last couple of years. Chris Baker, not necessarily a down-the-field guy, but it's been a nice addition for them in terms of being able to find that tight end in those matchup zones with the linebackers.
False start, number 75. Offense, 5-yard penalty. First down.
Sean Locklear, the right tackle, started early. That'll back him up 5. First and 15 from the 27-yard line for Pete Carroll and the Seahawks, trying to even this thing up.
Well, the Seahawks are running a lot of slot. You're going to see a lot of this 2-receiver combination. They feel like that pushes San Francisco into more of their zone packages.
Wide open again. It's Stokely, and he has a first down to the 11. Boy, he has become the money man indeed. 13 straight receptions for first down yardage.
And this is just what we're talking about. They think they can force the zones. He's just going to curl up in between the linebackers, coming underneath the deep safety. We're going to see a lot of this slot combination. 49ers may have to break their tendency and try to play a little more man, because right now Seattle's dictating to them in that slot alignment.
Leon Washington checks into the backfield, takes a handoff, and maybe is able to pick up a yard, wrapped up by Brea Franklin. You had Brea Franklin in Baltimore.
I tell you what, great story. Young man out of Tennessee. We drafted in Baltimore. Kind of knocked around a little bit. Actually went to NFL Europe. Struggled a little bit, came back, and now big part of the San Francisco 49er defense. They franchised him at some point. He's going to get another big payday.
Second down and 9. This has been an area throughout his career where Hasselbeck has made very few mistakes inside the red zone. Pump fake and wide open for a touchdown is Rubel Martin.
You could tell the excitement in Matt Hasselbeck's voice when he talked about Rubel Martin. With the loss of Mike Williams, Rubel Martin's a big 6'4", 220-pound receiver. Watch him in here. He's going to nod and then go vertical in behind him. Without Michael Williams, they felt like they didn't have that big receiver. Rubel Martin being put into the lineup has given them that big receiver presence.
Murray for the point after is good, which ties the game. The NFC West. Down to the final month. Who wants it? Who will get it? We're tied at 7. Working on a short field. Matt Hasselbeck takes advantage to tie this game at 7.
This Mike Williams on the right here, visiting with Ravel Martin, trying to tell him, yeah, man, use that size. Set up the DB this way, that way. I tell you, Matt Hasselbeck so thrilled to have another big receiver with the loss of Mike Williams the last couple of weeks.
Ted Ginn Jr. from the 10-yard line. Tries to break it to the outside. Again, Babineau on the stop. Alex Smith taking the field. For more on him, let's check in with Chris Myers.
Well, Tom, Alex came into this game with added excitement, missing the 6 weeks. He said from the sideline he got a different view of some things that could help his game. For one, maybe dissecting some of his decision making. But he did say, when I asked him about his contract up this year, he said, it's on my mind. I have to focus on this game, but I have to show my best. And as Brian mentioned, this may be his last stand. He does realize in this game he is still auditioning.
Talked about that throughout the afternoon. And the plight of one Alex Smith since being the #1 pick out of Utah. Westbrook out of the backfield is up to 29. That'll be a gain of 2. And let's check in with Kurt Menefee back in Los Angeles.
No letdown for the Patriots at Chicago today, at least not yet. How about another hookup between Rob Gronkowski? 7-0. They lead the Bears early on in the snow. Tom and Brian.
Thank you so much, Kurt. Well, they've been talking about that one in the Windy City. They knew the elements would be bad. New England coming off that thrashing of the Jets. And a chance for many who still question the Bears to get a big win. That was a poorly thrown ball, although it looked like a play Crabtree should have made.
Well, Michael Crabtree is a very gifted receiver, but he's not a disciplined route runner. I don't know if this was the case here, but sometimes if you're not taking the route at the proper depth, breaking it off at just the right timing, it can throw a quarterback off. That's the challenge for Michael Crabtree. Came out of a system in college, a lot more freelancing than what he's asked to be doing here in the National Football League.
All right, a 3rd down and 7. Across the middle of the field, and that's Josh Morgan for the 1st down to the Seattle 49.
Josh Morgan is another good big receiver that the 49ers have. This is a talented special group that the 49ers have. He's 6 foot, almost 220. Came in as a rookie. This guy got ill, kind of fell off the radar, but he's a big developing receiver to go with Michael Crabtree, Vernon Davis. This is a gifted skill group that San Francisco has.
They pitch it to Dixon, and he cuts it back to the middle of the field. Stiff arms his way to the 15.
Great open field run, and at the end of this, he's just going to start this. Everything gets over pursued by the defense by Seattle. He's able to get his foot in the ground this time. Those longer cleats help. And look at all this air that he can come back in here. That's a defensive coordinator's worst nightmare. And watch Alex Smith come in here late. He's going to be a factor down the field. That'll win the hearts of his teammates and the fans. He does that a whole lot.
Westbrook spins out of 1 tackle. And is stopped just inside the 12.
You know, we saw him slip down early, Tom, and Dixon went to the sideline, kind of like in NASCAR. And now we're just going to put those longer cleats on. You know, obviously the turf here in Candlestick Park has notoriously always been wet. We are below sea level. Everybody knows that. Those long old cleats, I haven't seen those long cleats in a long, long time.
They fake it to Westbrook, dump it off to Davis, and he's wrapped up by Hawthorne, and a flag comes in late. He's short of a 1st down, but we wait on the penalty.
After the reception, block in the back, number 26, offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat second down. Correction, the number is 46.
Yeah, that we couldn't hear it here, but it's a block in the back. I think we're going to see Delaney Walker. We're going to see Delaney Walker come in here late, right into here. The play is going down. He's trying to affect it in case Davis can come out of this. That's clearly behind the blocking from behind the back. Didn't get his hands out there, just kind of leaned on him. Moves him back now, makes it instead of a convertible 2nd and 10, you got a 2nd and 15. Seeing a lot of 2 tight end formation here. This 12 personnel, 1 back, 2 tight ends. Gives San Francisco a lot of latitude given the athleticism of their 2 tight ends.
Batted into the air and incomplete. Raheem Brock coming off a big game against Carolina where he had a couple of sacks.
See, they're just going to stack these guys. You can't see it here, but Delaney Walker, you go Davis deep. Delaney Walker breaks out to the side. This 12 personnel or 2 tight ends keeps Seattle in base people. Yet these guys are both good enough athletes. You can break it out. It's like having 3 and 4 wide receivers on the field. It's why they're staying with their personnel grouping. Although now in 3rd and 15, you're going to see everything that Seattle has to offer in their complexness nickel program.
Only a 3-man rush. Smith will run it. Wow. Did he take a hit from Roy Lewis? But right back on his feet is Alex Smith. And out comes the field goal unit. Oh, he took a lick.
Well, he had a long way to go. You know, discretion's the better part of valor. I appreciate the bravado, but if you want to be the quarterback going forward, you better learn to get down a little bit better than that. Go up the road and work with the Giants a little bit. Learn how to slide.
The defending World Series champions.
Well, there'd be some good experts to teach it.
33-yard field goal try by Reed. And it just does clear. And it is good. It looked like Aaron Curry got a hand on it. And it cleared the crossbar to give the Niners a 10-7 lead at the end of the first quarter. A 10-7 lead at the end of the opening quarter. The San Francisco 49ers, if you're just joining us, with a loss today, would be eliminated from a chance to reach the NFC playoffs. A partially blocked 33-yard field goal try by Reed had enough juice on it to clear the crossbar for the 3-point lead. Washington cuts it back to the inside. Still on his feet, and a late flag comes in as Washington was tackled at the 35-yard line.
During the return, holding, number 54 of the return team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Let's go back to the field goal.
I want you to watch it right here. You're going to see Aaron Curry literally just leapfrog over the top of the offensive line. This is a heck of an athletic move, and then still have enough wherewithal to get down on the ground and get your hands up. Almost got it blocked totally. A lot of people might confuse that with you cannot use your own people to launch off of. What made that legal? He did it strictly on the 49ers.
Hasselbeck looking around on first down. And incomplete. Good coverage by Takeo Spikes. Take a look at the numbers from the opening quarter.
Yeah, and it looks very similar, obviously, because we both had 2 long drives. Total yardage, obviously, Seattle starting on a short field doesn't much matter to you. They drive the length of the field to make this a very tight game. You got to give the defense some credit for holding them to 3 on this final drive.
Quick throw to Martin. And he's up to the 30-yard line. It'll bring up third down.
You know, the 49er defense is one under Greg Minuski, the defensive coordinator, particularly here in this third down package. They call it their magic package. I want you to watch the way these guys mull around. Seattle has some answers for it. You can see it on their part. They're muddled as well. They call this their jive package because they're trying to counteract the magic package. We got jiving, we got magic. Everybody's doing all they can to gamesmanship.
And the former college quarterback, Michael Robinson, took the snap out of the shotgun and carries for the first down. Of course, Robinson, a 3-year starter at quarterback for the Penn State Nittany Lions.
Well, you can see as they move around, this is the jive package. This is Hasselbeck out here. They're trying to disguise what they're doing to get the 49ers to calm down their magic package. The key to calm down the magic is to jive, evidently.
Hasselbeck back under center to throw it on first down. Right through the hands, and then it's intercepted. Takeo Spikes with his 3rd interception of the year. Went right through the intended receiver's hands.
Today's game is sponsored by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. By Despicable Me, bring home the comedy event on Blu-ray and DVD this Tuesday. And by Domino's. Oh, yes, we did.
Big turnover right there by Seattle. Takeo Spikes, we mentioned his 3rd interception of the year. It hit 2 other bodies before it got to Takeo.
Yeah, the ball literally bouncing right for the 49ers. They now have an opportunity on a short field, following up on the short field that Seattle had for their touchdown. Great opportunity for Seattle, or for, San Francisco.
Free play for Smith. Why not take a shot? No flag at the other end. But it looked like Colin Cole will be whistled for crossing too early.
90, defense, 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
And as we go back here, it's going to hit 3 people. First, it goes through the hands of Michael Robinson, and then it looks like it hits the arm of Manny Lawson, kind of bounces up in the air, and Takeo Spikes, the right man at the right time, doing the right thing. That's a freebie right there, coming right to it. Takeo Spikes loving the fact that working in combination there. A big turnover for San Francisco. And Michael Robinson going, gosh almighty, the last thing you want to do with your back turned to a defense is have a ball bounce up off your hands.
So after the penalty, a first down and 5. Dixon to the 37-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down and 3. 2nd down and 3 after the penalty on first down.
I want to come back to the 49ers again with their 2 tight end alignment. 12 personnel, which is 1 back, 2 tight ends. Delaney Walker and Davis, these are 2 excellent athletes. I didn't know a lot about Delaney Walker. He actually returns kicks for him as well. But to have that kind of athleticism, you're going to see him right here on the left. They're all both very good blockers as well. You can see this up here on the left side, gives them a lot of latitude.
Smith sacked by Chris Clemens. A career high 9.5 sacks for Clemens, who's just having an outstanding year after coming over in a trade from Philadelphia.
And he was looking to that 2 receiver side on a quick 3-step drop, and when you get beat this quickly with that little spin move, all of a sudden now the quarterback, you pull it down on a 3-step drop, you really have no place else to go. Couldn't have timed it any better. Clemens couldn't have, because the quarterback was too short in the pocket to do anything else with the ball.
So a first down and 5 now becomes a 3rd down and 8. Westbrook Tiptoes out of bounds for a first down at the 33-yard line after he broke the tackle of Roy Lewis. So many great years in Philadelphia for Brian Westbrook.
And this is what he brings to the table. When they lost Frank Gore, they not only lost their leading ball carrier, they also lost their leading receiver. Normally you can't replace that, but Brian Westbrook, who as recently as 2007 had 90 receptions. This guy can do it all coming out of the backfield. Great depth for the 49ers.
Right through the hands of Ted Ginn Jr. Of course, Westbrook out of Villanova in 2002, a third-round draft pick by the Eagles. Led the NFL in total yards in 2007. Last year, concussions and injuries. Missed half the year, was cut loose. Then signed with the 49ers in August. Was virtually non-existent until 2 weeks ago when he racked up 136 yards. Against Arizona, that was the game where Gore went down with a fractured hip. Walker. There's some of that athleticism you were talking about. Was chased down by Aaron Curry. Let's send it downstairs to Chris Myers.
And Tom, the last 2 weeks, Brian Westbrook missing a lot of practice much of the week, actually held out until late in the week. Some thought personal reasons, but Mike Singletary said no, it's personally a knee injury. If we use him up in practice, he won't be good on Sunday. And I asked Westbrook in pregame how he felt. He said, I'm rested and I'll be busy today, both running and catching the football.
Great to have Chris Myers with us this week. He'll be with us next week for the big one in Baltimore. New Orleans against the Ravens.
That one's going to be fun.
Smith threw it behind Ted Ginn Jr. Although that's a reception you got to make.
It does. It's a little bit late on the throw. You're going to see Alex Smith here, but you got to throw into the open window when it presents itself. Ted Ginn just on the back shoulder a little bit. This has been the dilemma for Ginn. Obviously a great return guy, but from the standpoint of being the ability to be the slot guy or even the third receiver is what he's got to prove that he can do.
Jeff Reed has been perfect since joining the 49ers. Hit 3 of 3 in Green Bay. This one from 44 yards out and right down the middle for Reed. He won a couple of Super Bowls in Pittsburgh. And he tacks on 3 more, and it's a 6-point San Francisco lead. .31 to play until halftime on a cloudy and somewhat chilly December afternoon in San Francisco. And the 49ers season very much on the line. Any hopes of winning the NFC West? They have to win today. If they lose, they're officially eliminated. Flag comes in late after Washington brings it up to the 27.
During the return, holding number 54 of the return team. 10-yard penalty, first down, timeout.
That's a second special teams penalty in a row on Will Herring.
Today's game is sponsored by the Ford F-150 and its 4 new engines. This is the future of truck.
(13-7). San Francisco in front. The Seahawks beginning this drive after the penalty from their own 17. They'll give it to Marshawn Lynch. And he's out across the 20. Let's go back and take a look at Aaron Curry again on the field goal try.
Yeah, this is twice he's done it. He doesn't get a hands on this time, and I stand corrected because you cannot use an opposing member of the team to get the leverage. Obviously, I'm wrong, so is the officials, because he's done it twice and hasn't been called. And looks like now the officials may be trying to explain to him I'm interested in that conversation. Let's bring Mike Pereira in when we're done here, because I'd like to know how this is being explained.
And I know Mike can hear us back at our command center in Los Angeles after so many years as the head of NFL officials. That one bobbled by Hasselbeck, but he recovers to slide across the 25. Mike Pereira, explain why that is, why you can't use an opposing player for leverage.
Well, here's the situation with leverage. You can use your hands to jump over a player, but the key to the rule is you cannot extend upward in an attempt to block or block a kick. So it's not leverage unless you get that second act of reaching upward and using that leverage to try to extend for additional height. That's why that's not a foul.
Okay, so the fact that he didn't go up, so it isn't a foul. The fact that they went straight forward. Okay, very good. So I was half right.
I believe the football is loose, and it is.
Wow.
Stripped away by Travis LeBoy, and he might have the football at the bottom of the pile.
Well, keep in mind that Matt Hasselbeck's got that cast or that splint on that left non-throwing hand. He gets flushed out of the pocket here. Here you can see as we come in, it's just a four-man rush with the late green dog. He starts to rush as typical. Don't know that the guy's coming from behind. Can't secure the ball with both hands. Another huge turnover for the San Francisco 49ers.
It's a nice play. Watch this. Almost like a basketball. He just reached out there and
it up
brought it right in. Beautifully done by LeBoy, who attended Marin Catholic High School just over the Golden Gate Bridge. So now the Niners in business. Smith rolls. I'll tell you, he is showing a lot of signs of rust as Alex Smith. He has had a number of receivers open, and his accuracy is just not there early on here today.
And when you throw those quick type of routes, those actually have to be the most accurate throws that you have, because you've got to give the receiver a chance to catch the ball, secure it quickly, and then turn up the field. We've seen a couple underneath quick throws that have not allowed the ball carrier, whether they caught it or not, to do anything with it.
Dixon for a yard. Maybe 2. It brings up 3rd and 8.
You've got to give, if indeed they can hold up on this 3rd and 8, should Seattle do that. You got to give them a lot of credit for dodging a couple bullets, to holding San Francisco to a couple field goals. This is a key 3rd down for them, because obviously if they're able to come up with a score or convert to put themselves into a score, much more of an uphill battle for Seattle.
5 receivers set, empty backfield. Morgan tiptoes into the end zone.
Great play out here. Again, just a very quick, almost like a one-step screen, or excuse me, hitch pulls up, and then all 6'2", 220 pounds of him just kind of steps out of it. Jumps over the top. Quite frankly, very poor tackling by the Seattle Seahawks. Turnover, huge course of action for the San Francisco 49ers now to go up ostensibly by 13 points. Makes it that proverbial 2-score game.
And the point after by Reed is good. 3 plays, 17 yards after the strip by LeBoy. Travis LeBoy with a strip and recovery, setting up the short field. And cacked up on the touchdown throw to Josh Morgan. 20-7 49ers.
As we said, this 49er team does have some excellent skilled people. I saw Josh Morgan in preseason a couple years ago, and he was lighting it up in preseason. Now, I know it was preseason, but you saw so much future in the young man, and then he had an illness that kind of took him off the field that year, lost a bunch of weight, so he's still coming back. Still very much a young receiver, but this is an excellent group by the 49ers.
Leon Washington, every time he touches it, he can excite you. Out across the 35 to the 37-yard line. Let's check in with Chris Myers.
Tom, over on the Seahawks bench, after that last turnover, Matt Hasselbeck came over to the sideline, first to Ruvell Martin, asking, and I'm paraphrasing, where were you on that? I was looking for you. Then he walked over to Stokely and said, we got to get this right. I'm going to be counting on you. Maybe some of the confusion having some of their top two receivers out of the game. Brian, Tom?
Thanks so much, Chris. And for those of you just joining us, no Mike Williams, no Ben Obamanu today for Seattle. They give it to Lynch. And he's tackled from behind by Franklin. And let's check in back in Los Angeles with Kurt Menefee.
And no Matt Castle for Kansas City as they are struggling against San Diego. Mike Tolbert with the touchdown run for the Chargers puts them up 14-0. Here's a stat for you, Tom and Brian. 14 total points for the Chargers, 15 total yards for Kansas City in the second quarter.
That's a big one. Oakland, boy, did they take a hit today. On the road, losing at Jacksonville. That was a huge loss for the Raiders. Lynch out of the backfield. And stiff arms his way up to the 42. It'll bring up third down.
You know, that we were talking about the accuracy of Alex Smith and how those short passes have to be as accurate as anything that you throw. Matt Hasselbeck, excellent example there. If you hit the running back just at the right speed with it going forward, he doesn't have to turn back for it. That's where you get the big throws out of the little passes like we just saw.
Plus, you keep you guys from getting hurt.
That too. That's not a bad thing either. Here we see that magic package again by San Francisco. Who's coming?
Hasselbeck, a perfect throw right at midfield. The catch made by Cameron Mora, who had a team-high 69 receiving yards against Carolina last week with the injury to John Carlson. They like their three tight ends here with Seattle.
They do. Matt Hasselbeck, we talked about his excitement about Ruvell Martin showing up, and also their tight ends. Mora last week really kind of emerged, kind of surprised everybody. Hasselbeck likes this group. They're still maturing as a group, but he likes the athleticism.
Stokely dives inside the 40 for another first down at the 38-yard line. Quick hit. NFL football gives sports fans a chance to coach your own NFL team for free. Choose your favorite NFL team, call the plays, guide your team to victory. Play today at foxsports.com or NFL.com. Are you playing that and coaching again on the side a little bit?
Sure, why not? Anytime you get a chance to coach, that's a good thing. Any way, shape, or form.
Is that a hint for your future?
No, don't go down that road. Don't go down that road.
Pump fake it and a hand it off to Lynch. And he's to the 35-yard line. A nice pickup on first down.
We talked about Matt Hasselbeck with that splint on his left hand. I want you to watch how he has to hand the ball off going to the right. Normally you just hand this with your left hand, but he's got to do it with the right hand, kind of in a backward action right there. He just puts that right hand in there, supported it with the left just lightly, but he can't grab it with his left hand. So anytime he goes to the right, he's having to hand it off backwards. He has to tell the back, don't pull my arm because you're pulling it out of its socket.
They fake to Lynch this time, and then they throw it to Lynch. Willis can't bring him down, and Lynch inside the 20. Flag comes in right along the sideline. Patrick Willis coming off a very tough game last week at Green Bay, not one of his better efforts, and he missed a chance to bring down Lynch right there.
Holding, number 88, offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat second down.
That's one of those tight ends we were talking about, Cameron Mora.
Yeah, he was down the field. I'm not quite sure where he got held onto it. Here you can see in Lynch, they haven't thrown the ball a lot to him. Here's Moore right here. He goes off the screen, but evidently he got a little loose with his hands, pulling down the DB. Marshawn Lynch not known for catching the ball out of the backfield. That usually falls to Justin Forsett. But a big man like that, you get him out of the perimeter of the defense, get the ball in his hands, he can do some damage.
Forsett checks into the backfield here. And a timeout is called by Seattle. All right, the NFC West, a lot of people have made fun of the division this year. not a team over 500. You have two teams at 6-6. Brian, we look at their schedule, including games today.
Yeah, and you can see everybody's got someone they're having to deal with. For St. Louis, they've got, obviously, at the end of the season, Seattle, but they've got Kansas City. St. Louis does. Seattle's got Atlanta and Tampa Bay. San Francisco's got to go to San Diego. So beyond playing with one another late in the season, as the league has scripted for the entire league in terms of playing with inside the division, everybody's got someone they've got to get past.
Well, the one game we don't have there is where St. Louis is today, and that's down in New Orleans, where last check they were trailing early on in that one. But again, for Mike Singletary's team, if they lose today, no matter what happens the rest of the way, they're out. And you might be wondering, well, why on the short pickup by Forsett? That's the downside. You'd have two losses against this Seattle team if San Francisco loses today. So if Seattle were to lose out, the Niners win out, Seattle would hold the tiebreaker against San Francisco, both teams at 7-9. Should all three teams finish at 7-9, San Francisco would have the tiebreaker.
Yeah, that's one of those, you just come tell me if we're in the playoffs.
It's hard to believe, but if San Francisco, as they stop them there on 3rd and a yard, if they can beat their divisional foes in 3 of these last 4 games, they would only have 1 loss inside the NFC West all year.
And that's why everybody's saying, I know it's the NFC West, but everybody's alive. Now, I can see this. Seattle's going for it. Why not? You're outside of field goal position, particularly in a park like this with the wind. A punt's only going to yield you so much if you kick it into the end zone. And they're running this jive package again. They're bursting out into an alignment so that San Francisco can't get a bead with their magic package.
A floater. Boy, you really got to wonder about that call.
Yeah. Wow. He was going, and Matt Hasselbeck, he knew he was wrong. He had Brandon Stokely underneath, probably for the first down. Throwing up this jump ball. You can see this jive package. They're all over the place. They're hoping that San Francisco can't settle in. Now you can see Stokely right here. He's got the first down with a double move. Decided to go outside with his big receiver. Ravel Martin maybe relying too much on the 6'4", 220-pound big man.
I got to tell you though, Brian, I mean, sitting there looking at that play, I mean, you've got one receiver down the sideline and another receiver in the middle of the field running all the way close to the end zone on a 4th down and 2 yards.
Yeah, you need to leave yourself maybe another underneath option on that one.
So the Niners get it back, leading 20-7. And Dixon picks up a couple of yards on first down up to the 34.
You know, in Seattle and offensive coordinator Jeremy Bates, they really had a lot of confidence coming into this game. They feel like they know what Matt Hasselbeck wants now. We're 3/4 of the way through the season. As Jeremy told us, you know what, I know the 8 to 10 routes that he wants. And they're going to be in the game plan every week, and we're going to formation it up. And we'll do some other things, but we feel like we have a bead on what Matt Hasselbeck likes. Obviously, they like that, but they needed somebody else underneath.
Davis on the catch. Short gain up to the 39-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down. Clock winding down to the 2-minute warning.
Vernon Davis has become one of the premier tight ends in this league. His athleticism, of course, you get a guy like that, you're going to have to take him in the top 10 pick, and that's what he was.
That'll bring us to the 2-minute warning. 49ers a 3rd down upcoming with a 20-7 lead. All right, a big 3rd down play. 2 minutes to go. The Niners have 3 timeouts remaining in a half. Seattle has 2, so if the Seahawks can get a stop, they'll have a chance to get it back. And Alex Smith tries to keep this drive alive. A 3rd down and 4. They need to get to the 42-yard line to convert. Got it away quickly to Westbrook. Flag back behind the line of scrimmage, and Westbrook will go into the end zone, but it may come back.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 59, Defense. That's a 15-yard penalty.
The touchdown will stand, roughing the passer against Aaron Curry, and Westbrook 62 yards.
Well, they're just clearing this thing out with a little angle route by Westbrook. He sees the pressure, but he knows he can get it off on a quick throw like that before it gets home. Anytime you hit the helmet, hands to the helmet, and now, obviously, with the pressure coming up, they brought the pressure. That left that many fewer bodies between Brian Westbrook and the goal line.
Broke a tackle from Earl Thomas to Pater. How about this first half explosion for the 49ers? Alex Smith back at quarterback. And they have racked up 27 points through nearly the first 2 quarters of this game. All right, some of the early games around the NFL. You know what happened in Minnesota. They'll play that game in Detroit tomorrow night. Atlanta all over Carolina as expected. Atlanta still with the best record in the NFC. The stunner, Green Bay. Lost Aaron Rodgers to a concussion in the second quarter and loses at Detroit. The Raiders in a must-win game. Lose in Jacksonville. And the Steelers just keep on rolling after that big win against your old team, the Ravens.
Yeah, the two Wests, the NFC West and the AFC West. Very interesting as we're coming down to the end of it. Going to go down to the very last week of the season. Brian Westbrook was just a godsend for these San Francisco 49ers. When you have a player like Frank Gore go down, we talked about earlier, Tom, yeah, you lose your top runner, your top ball carrier, and you might have someone that can fill in admirably, but the guy that can do it out of the backfield as well really hasn't shown up as much in the last couple games, but you knew the 49ers were going to develop that to this talented receiver out of the backfield as well. You know it's got to be exciting for him given the last couple of years of injuries that he's had to deal with, to be able to come in and have this kind of impact for his team.
You know, he has to be fired up about his alma mater yesterday. Stunning Appalachian State in the 1AA playoffs. A huge win for Villanova. And on a third down play, the 62-yard catch and run to the end zone by Westbrook. Longest play from scrimmage for him since 2006, of course, with Philadelphia.
And we've seen every bit of why Alex Smith was inserted to the lineup. They needed to open up the playbook. We've seen it all. Angle passes, shots down the field, multiple personnel packages. This is exactly why Alex Smith was inserted back into the lineup.
Plenty of time now for Hasselbeck and the Seahawks, and they're just going to put it up down the field, and that'll be pass interference. Against who? The defender or against Dion Butler?
Yeah, I'm betting it's Dion Butler. He gave a little shove at the very end of that. Yeah, he's pleading his case right now. It's not going to do any good.
Pass interference, number 11. Offense, 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
You can see at the end of the play here, he'll beat it down and just, I kind of almost get tied up. It's almost just instincts not to fall down with it. They get down, he just reached up and shoved him. I'm trying to make an excuse for him. No, he said, you know what, get out of my way. I'm going to catch this ball.
Worth a shot.
Yeah, although you're out there on your own, I'm not quite sure how he thinks they won't see that. You know, maybe in line a little bit, but not when you're 30, 40 yards down the field. They do have officials down at that end of the field tonight.
Hasselbeck to throw it on second down. And underthrown.
Oh, boy.
To Forsett, who had plenty of daylight in front of him.
Wow, that could have been lethal.
Oh, some of the headliners from action early on. That big win by Jacksonville. Darren McFadden rushing for 123 yards, and Hines, well, what a great career he has had for the Steelers.
And you guys faced him many a time. That grin just irritates you, man. You know, he made me so mad, but I tell you what, you give me 11 Hines Ward, I'll beat you in whatever game you want to play.
So now this becomes a critically important third down, and it's intercepted.
What are we doing?
Reggie Smith still on his feet. So from the 11-yard line, plenty of time, 1:26 to go in the half, and all 3 timeouts left. Westbrook will step out of bounds after picking up maybe 2. Coming up on the Visa halftime report, Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy will tell you about the postponement of that game in the Metrodome and where you can watch tomorrow's game and when you can watch it. And the Packers lose Aaron Rodgers to a concussion in the second quarter and manage only 3 points.
Wow. Talk about underlining the importance of your quarterback. We love Aaron Rodgers. There's none better. And no better example than that of what happens with your offense when a guy like that goes down.
Great numbers for Smith inside the red zone. 20 of the areas he can really hang his hat on. Clock continues to run. Davis unable to get out of bounds.
And they use a timeout. They got 3 of them. They just burned 1. You got all the time in the world here. And with 1:05, you're going to use them up. Take everything you need.
Well, they waited 15 seconds after that catch was made to get the timeout. We'll see if they reset the clock.
Well, he didn't call timeout. Looked like he was up there calling it, thinking they were getting timeout, but evidently they didn't call it. I don't know. Well, I don't know what's going on here because we just took 1 off the board.
It sure looked like he was trying to get 1.
Yeah, and right now they're putting it back on the board.
And they might get the play off. Just do get it off. Westbrook. Now they'll spend a timeout.
Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't have used the one unless they wanted to run personnel on the field and catch Seattle. That's the only reason that you wouldn't want to use a timeout.
Well, they're going to wait until it ticks down to the final seconds to send the field goal unit out. Crowd is screaming and yelling. They know exactly what they're doing here, one would assume.
Yeah, and I understand the reason for possibly not taking a timeout, running on a personnel grouping, hoping to catch the defense off guard. But I'm not sure you don't want a more orchestrated call. Let's, calmer heads prevail. Let's use the timeout. I know that's one way to trick a defense. How about we just out-execute them? Let's get a more orchestrated call and don't rush ourselves in that situation because you're not getting any points for taking these 2 into the locker room with you.
So Reed, 2 of 2 today, 5 of 5 since signing as a 49er prior to their game last week in Green Bay. Joe Nedney still bothered by an injured knee. This will be a 22-yard try. Six out of 6 is Reed. What a half. What a half for the San Francisco 49ers. Facing elimination with a loss today. A 30-7 halftime lead to 30 points, a season high. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL. And at least for a half anyway, Brian Billick reminiscent of the glory days in San Francisco. 30 points in the first half for the Niners.
Well, they're playing like those team of old in terms of the passion and the execution that they have. They're playing like a team that knows they absolutely have to win today. Seattle's playing like a team like they think they got 3 games up, not just the one that they're playing with right now.
Tell you, it's really hard to believe this Seattle team can come out and play through the first 30 minutes the way it has so far. I mean, right now going into play today, a first-place tie with St. Louis atop the NFC West.
Well, they started off poorly last week, remember, but they came back. But that was the Carolina Panthers, not the San Francisco 49ers. They ran the ball well in the second half. They're going to need something here because right now the 49ers have totally outclassed them.
All right, so here we go in the second half. Remember, Seattle won the toss and deferred until the second half. So they'll get it right from the start. Leon Washington up to the 23-yard line. And Brian Billick's breakdown. Some of the first half things and what to look forward to.
Real easy to see here. Points off takeaways. The big plays. San Francisco generating 4, 2 of them for scores. Here's the key. Seattle's been very good in the third quarter, being plus 27 in third quarter differential, scoring differential. San Francisco struggled. So what they got to do? They got to get turnovers. They got to generate big plays. They've got to have a fast start like they've had so far, or this 49er team's going to overwhelm them.
First down, Marshawn Lynch. He's been very quiet today. Vernon Davis starting the scoring with a big touchdown. Seattle answered on the throw to Martin, but then after that, all 49ers. In fact, this is only the third time under Mike Singletary that the 49ers have scored 30 or more points in a game. Forget about a half.
Well, Seattle can't get greedy here. They need a well-orchestrated drive for a score here to get started in that third quarter. Oh, boy.
And it's intercepted. And again, turned into points for the 49ers by Deshaun Goldson. A 40-yard interception return. And the route is on.
This had disaster written all over it right from the get-go. Matt Hasselbeck trying to drift the ball in over the dropping linebacker, not taking into account the safety in behind it. Deshaun Golston just gets a freebie delivered up to him for a pick six.
That is the first takeaway this year by Golston, who had 4 interceptions as a first-year starter at free safety a year ago. Reed for the point after. We're not even a minute into the third quarter. And the 49ers have scored 37 points. Mercer.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. By Nissan's year-end sales event. For holiday offers, visit your local Nissan dealer today. And by K Jewelers, the #1 jewelry store in America. Every kiss begins with K.
On the point after, the very talented rookie out of Idaho, Mike Iupati, was down for quite some time on the field. They were starting to bring the cart out. And then amazingly, Iupati springs to his feet and is able to run off the field. That's a good sign.
Yeah, look, the way he's carrying it a little bit, I think he probably got a stinger, which at the time feels like you're totally paralyzed. He was probably concerned because you could tell he went down like a rock, but now he's reaching up there, and obviously the feeling starts to come back. That's a good sight right there to see him moving around.
And meanwhile, 14-11 to play in the third quarter, and the 49ers a stunning 37-7 lead. Washington out across the 30 to the 31-yard line. Let's check in downstairs along the sideline with Chris Myers.
Well, Tom, at the half, Mike Singletary said even with the big lead at that time, since they have added to it, he said not until the third quarter or after that will I think about running the clock down. We do have a short week, but first we want to win this game and get ready for Thursday night. Pete Carroll, bubbly as ever, said, hey, we're moving the ball, but we've given them everything. When I indicated that maybe Matt Hasselbeck was trying to do too much on his own, he said, no, that's not the case. But obviously Matt Hasselbeck is a guy that's going to have to turn things around for us.
That is a long mountain to climb, but we do have a long time to do it. And it starts on a completion to Lynch. And he's run out of bounds at the 38-yard line by Manny Lawson.
You know, when these guys first met to start the season, Tom, and obviously all the expectations for the 49ers, one of the dilemma for the 49ers, what do you prepare for? Pete Carroll comes from USC. Do I look at SC film? Jeremy Bates had been at Denver. Defensively, what are they going to run? They really weren't quite sure what to prepare for. Obviously now 3/4 of the way through the season, they have a much better idea.
Lynch runs it up to the 42. That's where he needed to get to pick up a first down. Alex Smith has done a very, very nice job. His first start back since the end of October.
Well, the juxtaposition of the interceptions to touchdowns. Alex Smith, a very capable quarterback, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He understands what's on the line here. He's out of contract. He's auditioning either for this team or some other team for his future in the NFL.
Deion Branch up to the 47-yard line for Deion Butler. Keep getting back to Deion Branch. He started the year, of course, with Seattle before being traded back to his original team in New England. And at last check, New England was drilling Chicago in the snow at Soldier Field. That New England team's good.
Oh boy, Tom Brady is playing as well as any quarterback that's ever played in this game.
They pitch it to Leon Washington, and did he pick up enough for a first down? Needed to get to the 48. Broke out of a tackle of LeBoy.
Well, and Deion Branch, when he was in Seattle, in fairness to Seattle, they had a group of young receivers, whether it's a Deion Butler or Golden Tate. We've talked about Michael Williams, who's not a young receiver, but obviously one that is developing. They felt like they wanted to go with that younger group. They could let a Branch go because of the group that they had. They bring in Brandon Stokely, gave them the veteran presence that they lost when they lost Deion Branch.
That's Golden Tate. For anybody who watched Golden Tate in college, and I know it is college, but what an exciting player he was for Notre Dame, and potentially could become in the NFL if they can just keep him on the field.
Well, he and Deion Butler are guys that are going to give you some big plays after the catch, and that's what they liked in these young developing receivers.
Tate missed 3 full games with an injured ankle. Lynch running hard down to the 23-yard line.
And right now, Seattle's doing the right thing. Just one orchestrated drive. Your instinct is to launch it up every down. We got 30 points to come back from. But right now, Jeremy Bates knows, I just need to spin or dial up those plays. We have got to get a score. Think about it in terms of a single score.
Hard running by Michael Robinson, and he's down to the 7. I'm not being facetious when I ask this, as you take a look at Robinson picking up the first down, but I want to ask you, as a longtime play caller and a mighty good one with Minnesota, how short does that play call list get when you're down 30?
Yeah, it's tough, and I know we're only early in the third quarter, and I agree with what they're doing here in terms of the one orchestrated drive. They desperately need that one score to just show that they can do it.
Bates didn't look very happy over on that sideline. A near miraculous catch by Moore, but it's incomplete.
San Francisco has gotten a little passive, understandably, make them drive the length of the field. We're up by 30 points, haven't seen a lot of pressure here. And right now for Seattle defensively, should they score, they got to start thinking about, you know what, we probably need a turnover. I don't know we can expect our offense to do this 4 or 5 times now to get us back into it. They got to be thinking about dialing up some pressures to get the ball. But right now, Seattle's just got to come up with that single score we're talking about.
Pump fake. Boy, that is just a terrible throw by Hasselbeck. And it's intercepted by Clemens. Third straight possession for Seattle ends on an interception. And Matt Hasselbeck has thrown 4 of them through 2 quarters in less than 5 minutes. For the 49ers, leading 37-7. Pitch it to Westbrook, who's up to the 23.
Poorly executed. You're looking to get a pick right here to try to get this wheel run, and it just doesn't come close. Tate, stop right here. He's way underneath. If you're trying to get a pick play, this ain't happening. Nate Clemens, a veteran receiver, he's all over it. I don't know what Matt Hasselbeck thought he saw, but if indeed that was supposed to be the pick play, this thing had no chance.
Nate Clemens in his 10th year out of Ohio State, a Pro Bowler back in 2004. In his 4th year for the Niners after leaving Buffalo. Short pickup on a 2nd down run. Clemens very similar to a guy he played at Ohio State with, Antoine Winfield. Both very physical corners, good tacklers, and both ball hawkers. They've come up with a lot of takeaways through the years.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't tell you how impressed I am that all the way to the third quarter before we get our first Ohio State reference.
Geez, I wasn't even trying to go there.
That's only because they have such good players.
Well, those two guys have been good.
Those are special. Those are special guys.
Third down, inside handoff, and lost in traffic is Westbrook, but they bottle him up short of a first down. O'Brien, the turnovers have killed Seattle.
Well, Matt Hasselbeck, over the last couple of years now, Matt Hasselbeck last year had 17 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. That balance are numbers reminiscent of a rookie, not a veteran quarterback like Matt Hasselbeck. This has been the issue the last couple of years. Now, they've had injuries. A lot of things explain it, but that touchdown-to-interception ratio has not fared well for Matt Hasselbeck.
Line drive punt returnable for Washington. And he's up to the 29-yard line. So a string of 5 straight scoring possessions comes to an end. Hasselbeck trying to break a streak of his own.
Today's game is sponsored by Verizon. The signal is yours. Wield it to transmit anything you want. Verizon.
May have noticed music from time to time throughout our telecast here today on Fox, experimenting with something new, much like a movie musical score, and scoring a football game on the catch made by Butler, but it's out of bounds. We hope you're enjoying it. We really enjoyed it after watching it.
It's been great. And for Seattle, it's the only scoring that's been going on, because right now they are struggling a little bit, and they still, again, back into this. It's early enough in the third quarter, but and I'm all about orchestrating a drive. I said that was the smart thing to do this last time. It ended up in interception. They're getting close to the point where they need to wad it up in the back, put the game plan in the back pocket, and go no huddle here.
Drop for a loss is Lynch. For Hasselbeck, he matches a career high. 4 interceptions in a game. It's the 4th time in his career he's done it. But going back to what Brian said a moment ago, it is the 3rd time it's happened in the last calendar year.
Well, we talked about this being a big game for Alex Smith. Matt Hasselbeck has a year left on his contract, but there is some speculation about what his future is in Seattle and going forward.
Nowhere to go on 3rd down and no punting. Let's go downstairs to Chris.
Well, Tom, you and Brian talked about how last week against Carolina, the Seahawks were able to rally in the second half. Pete Carroll was telling me before the game, he said, I stressed to this team a 4th quarter championship mentality. And last week I realized I may have made a mistake, that they were waiting for something to happen, and we had to move that up a little bit earlier. He's trying to stress that now on the sideline. In reality, that sounds good, even for the most positive of head coaches, but his team is just getting outplayed.
Good punt by John Ryan, and again able to catch it at the 32-yard line. Will be dropped by Roy Lewis. Been a rough day for Pete coming back to his hometown. 37-7, 7:13 to play in the 3rd quarter. Of course, next week on Fox, going to tell you about a couple of games you don't want to miss. That's coming up right after this first down for Alex Smith. And the 49ers are going to give it to Westbrook. And he picks up 3. Of course, Westbrook, a former Eagle. And speaking of the Eagles, next week will take on the rival Giants in a battle for NFC East supremacy. Some of you will see that one. Others will see the Falcons continue their quest for the NFC's top seed against these Seahawks. Check local listings for the game and time in your area. And I'll tell you what, Brian, there's not a game in the league I'd take over the game where you and I are going to be next week. That'll be the defending Super Bowl champion New Orleans Saints going into Baltimore to take on the Ravens. That's a big league game.
I'm fascinated, or going to be fascinated, in seeing what Sean Payton does and how he tries to attack that great Baltimore defense. Going to be great fun.
Well, how would you attack it?
Well, you know what?
The New Orleans personnel. You know the Baltimore personnel.
He's got the assets outside, but they're getting healthy. Pierre Thomas is back. They've got Chris Ivory. They're like Pittsburgh. You cannot be one-dimensional against the Ravens. They have got to, even though they're going to want to attack that secondary of the Ravens, they have got to run the ball.
Adam Snyder has replaced Mike Iupati at left guard. Iupati left with that stinger. And with a 30-point lead, why take a chance? Smith. Completed ball to Morgan, looking for a block. And he's all the way down to the 22-yard line. He was pointing at his buddy Vernon Davis to get him a few extra yards downfield.
Right here, you've seen two quick, easy passes to Josh Morgan here. And now he's saying, give me, I'm coming, man. Go take somebody. But look at the stride on this guy. Josh Morgan, I like this player. This guy, and again, you throw him in with the Michael Crabtree, who we haven't heard a lot from today. Vernon Davis, Westbrook in the backfield. 49ers got it all going here. They're excited about what they're seeing right now.
46-yard gain. Couple of yards on first down on the give to Anthony Dixon. My, oh my, all of a sudden, if you're the 49ers, you knew going into the game today that with a loss you would be officially eliminated from winning the NFC West. Well, you know, you're 19 minutes away from getting a win. You got to go on the road to San Diego, but then a couple of very winnable division games against St. Louis and Arizona.
And is this not the poster child for guys 4-8? It doesn't matter. Just keep grinding. Just hang in there. It's what we're in. So what if the division's not very good? We're right here. And right now they're feeling it. And Tom, so often in the NFL, obviously every game is tough, but the 49ers, look at this early schedule, Tom. Yeah, the loss to Seattle was uncharacteristic, or we didn't know. New Orleans, Kansas City, Atlanta, Philadelphia. You know what? Those are pretty good football teams.
All four right now would go to the playoffs.
And look at some of the score differentials. 3 to Philadelphia, 2 to Atlanta. They got blown out by Kansas City. They got on a tough early run that put them in this 4-8 hole. They have an opportunity to work their way out of it.
Third down incomplete with an eye on Crabtree. And out comes Jeff Reed.
You know, we talked to him yesterday. I asked Alex Smith, and I've had my fair share of it when a quarterback sits for a while. He had the injury. He's been on the bench for about 6 weeks. How do you play it coming out? Is there a little bit of rust? Well, the competitor in you says, no, I got to be ready to go. We got to have it. Well, they've got it. They're doing it pretty good. But you can see a bit of that rust. It takes nothing replaces actual game time to get your rhythm, your timing. He's going to be that much better next week, I think, for what he's done today.
36-yard try by Reed. And he tucks it in the right upright. 7 for 7 after being released by the Steelers. 7 plays, 51 yards, capped off by a Jeff Reed 36-yard field goal with 3:32 to play in the third quarter. The 49ers leading Seattle 40-7. Wow, would you have ever imagined this? I mean, really?
No, you know, and I got to tell you, we were out there Friday at practice. Let's see the return here.
And a big return for Washington. Trying to go the distance. He's got one man to beat. And a touchdown for Leon Washington. 92 yards, his third kickoff return for a touchdown this year.
Well, it typically takes a play like this to jumpstart you. I don't know, down 40-7. You're going to probably need a whole bunch more of these. But this is a beautiful return. He's done this with his team all year long in a closer ball game. Look at this, and a great job. Then he just brings it back across the field like all great open field runners do. Got the ball in the outside hand. And you're not going to catch Leon Washington when you got an angle like that.
Point after is good by Murray. 40-14, Niners. Well, NASCAR season may be over, but Fox is already revving up for another exciting year. It all begins February. The running of a great American race live from the Daytona International Speedway, the Daytona 500. This February only on Fox. Looked like a pit crew along the sideline working on Anthony Dixon's spikes. Now, Chris Myers, you are Mr. NASCAR for Fox. Didn't you go to like a 2 or 3 day camp about working and how to work on a pit crew?
Well, yes, Tom, but I left after about 8 hours. I had to get my hands dirty. But, you know, but this is what they take care of the show. I'm going to take these down to Daytona and maybe help out Jimmy Johnson's pit crew. 5 straight NASCAR championships. Back up to you guys.
Great coverage on Fox, led, of course, by Chris Myers on NASCAR. .312 to play in the third quarter.
Well, if they're gonna come back, you know, that's a jump start for your team. Leon Washington getting a big score on the kickoff return. They desperately need a 3 and out in here to give them any kind of opportunity on a shorter field now to get in scoring position again. But they got to have a 3 and out right here. No pressure.
You think?
No pressure. That's 3:12 in the third quarter now.
And Delaney Walker wide open. And instead he throws to Davis, who just plain dropped it. Let's go to Los Angeles and check in with Kurt Menefee.
Well, news that both Seattle and San Francisco fans will like. New Orleans on top of the St. Louis Rams after the Lance Moore touchdown. 28-6 right now. That one in the third quarter. Of course, Tom and Brian, as you know, St. Louis right now on top of the NFC West.
Yeah, the first place tie, but by virtue of a tie break, leads to Seattle going into play today. And both on their way to suffering what would be their 7th loss of the year. The Niners have already lost 8. And Arizona's out of it.
And you know, their president Jed York made the comment in a text not long ago in the season that they can still win the division. And as odd as it sounds, particularly if St. Louis goes on and loses, obviously the way Seattle's playing right now, we've looked at the schedule. Mike Singletary and this 49er team is hanging on to the dream, and it is a very real dream for them. They need to finish out strong here, not just to finish the game, but to keep that momentum going into a very short week with them playing on Thursday night.
Yep. Not able to get to the first down mark. Nice play by Herring. So there's that 3 and out you talked about. Now you take a look at the NFC. Atlanta winners earlier today, and still with the best record at 11-2. Chicago is getting absolutely annihilated by New England,
which offsets the loss by Green Bay here.
Yep. Tampa Bay at 8-5, a winner today
by a missed extra point. Yep. How about that?
Yep. And then, of course, Seattle and San Francisco are still in this thing, despite their records compared to everybody else. Great punt by Andy Lee. And this is Golden Tate. Still on his feet, close to midfield. Nice return by Tate.
Well, we talked about the skilled players that San Francisco has. How about some of the skilled players that Seattle has? We've obviously seen Leon Washington return one here. Golden Tate, you talked about not long ago. The gifted rookie coming out of Notre Dame. Still developing as a receiver, but you know he can do that. They've got some skilled players as well. They're going to need him here. They got a short field. Got to come up with a score.
Hasselbeck on first down. Completed pass to Marshawn Lynch. Of course, Leon Washington nearly returned a punt for a touchdown against Carolina last week. I mean, he's still smarting about it.
Yeah, this one, you don't want to come back in the film room the next day when you return the punt the way you did. He got the hand up early, thought it was in the end zone, and he took a hard hit, falling down about the 2 or 3 yard line.
Hasselbeck again just throwing to backs. And here it was.
Boy,
Take a look.
That's the right music too now, because this is your worst nightmare. You got to go in the next day and you let a kicker bring you down. Watch the way he lands on his head. Boom, face mask. That's head-to-head contact. That should have been a penalty on the field. That one hurts, and that's what he's feeling right. He's not tired. He's embarrassed.
He is. He's still mighty good there.
Yeah, he can change a game for you on a game that's tight.
Third down. This time it's for set, and he has enough for a first down to the 41. And that will be the final play of the third quarter. Niners 40, Seahawks 14. Fox NFL Sunday continues after a break from your local Fox station. In Seattle, it adds up to a 40-14 lead. So we begin the fourth quarter. Hasselbeck in the shotgun at the San Francisco 41. Take a look at some of the third quarter numbers.
And obviously a tight game if you look at just the third quarter and ignore the first half. Obviously Seattle has rebounded a little bit. Obviously the opening interception for a score didn't help.
Michael Robinson just short of a first down. Depending on the spot, he looks to be about a half, well, maybe about a yard short. Yep, to the 33. Ricky Jean-Francois out of LSU. That's a big body and a talented young player.
You're in 4-down territory. Obviously, got to go for it if you don't get it here.
And they didn't know.
You always turn this on me. Okay, coach, what would you do? Okay, you've been together a while now. Let's see if you've learned anything. What do you do here? I want to know what you're going to run here. Because if you're wrong, you know I'm going to kill you with it. But go ahead.
Well, I'm going to tell you, the only play that has worked for him all day long, is throwing it to a running back out of the backfield. So right now, I'm going to fake a handoff to Lynch.
And you're going to throw the ball. You're not going to run it.
Back. Yeah, because they can't run it. And they're going to go ahead and throw it to Forsett.
I'm going to kill you.
But he's not even in a game, so what do I know? This is my call. I would have made. Not this. Oh, boy. It wouldn't have been that. Although he was wide open.
He threw it to the back. He did what you said. Tired.
I'm 1 for 1.
Today's game is sponsored by Despicable Me. Bring home the comedy event on Blu-ray and DVD this Tuesday by Autotrader.com. Now compare new and used cars side by side at Autotrader.com. And by Burger King. Have it your way.
Been a tough day for Matt Hasselbeck. Let's go back to that fourth down play.
Well, you called for it. What'd you want? You said you want to let it go here, and you get a little bit of a play fake
Not
right
what
here.
I called for.
All right, and now you said come back to the running back. Stop right there. You can see this thing was going to score. Got the wrong one. This thing was going to score. You said play fake and go to the back. Welcome to my world, Coach. Welcome to my world, because you're the village idiot now because it didn't work.
You and my wife are the only two people that call me the village idiot.
Right. See, perfectly called at the right time, executed to a fault, and it didn't work. You lose. I love it when you have a glimpse.
I love the story
world.
you told. All right, now you're going to have to clean it up a little bit. No, but the story you told about being in the car with your daughters after a game where your team scored. Tell that story about what it really is like. I think this is very interesting.
Yeah, let's run a play here.
Second down and 7. 49ers lead 40-14. Dixon. Short of a first down.
All right, I'm in Minnesota, and we're doing pretty good. This is a game we won, mind you. I go out, and I made the fatal mistake to turn on talk radio on the way home. my 7-year-old daughter sitting
But
in the
your
car.
team had done what offensively in the game?
We've done very well. We won the game. You know, turn on and talk radio. A guy gets on. He says, "I want to hook Brian Billick to the back of my truck and drag him around the Metrodome until I run out of gas." Now, I turned to my 7-year-old. She's, "Daddy, is he going to do that?" I go, "I don't know. I got to look at the guy." See, sometimes that's what your world's all about. It's all about production.
Crabtree appears to be just short of a first down.
And this is Jeremy Bates with all the help he's getting right now, because right now the phones are dead. You can't find a coach or a player. You think the assistant's gone down because he's looking at that card and going,
the water boys are even running away.
Yeah, they're going, "You're on your own, coach." And it's tough. I tell you what, you're looking at that card and you're trying to find that section that says, where do I call when I'm down by 26 with 11 minutes in the fourth quarter? That's a small box on that play calling card.
Now they're coming after the punts, but Lee gets it away. And this time, Washington back will call for a fair catch at the 18. .11:02 to go. We're going to be asking Brian Billick to make a play call on every down the rest of the way.
Seattle, throw. San Francisco, run.
And Hasselbeck back to throw it. And looking for the long ball. What a catch made by Dion Butler. Beautifully thrown ball on an otherwise rough day for Matt Hasselbeck.
Great air. And that's exactly what you got to do. You just got to put enough of a air right up here in front of it as it comes down into Butler. Needed for the safety to be a lot deeper, stay as high as the highest, deep as the deepest. I called that, by the way, so I'm 1 for 1 and you're 0 for 1.
43-yard gain. And across the middle of the field. Catch is made by Martin, and that gets him down to the 20.
And the 49er fans are going, don't get in that passive defense. The prevent, all it does is prevent you from winning. You look at the clock, you look at the score differential, you look at how much time it takes for them to come back. These are the right defenses to be in. I know you want to blitz. All it takes is you blitz, have pressure. All it takes is one guy to fall down and get beaten. All of a sudden now they've brought this back into a workable scoring position.
49ers going to call a timeout.
Today's game is sponsored by Visa. More people go with Visa.
Seattle with the ball. Trailing 40-14, just under 10 minutes to go. A first down at the 49ers 19. Flag comes in on the incomplete throw with an eye on John Carlson. First time we've called his name today.
Number 65, offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Now, we've been talking about, for the first time, experimenting today here on Fox. Much like when you watch a television show or a movie, a musical score will run, bringing on different human emotions. And this music.
Anticipation,
tension, drama.
Kind of like my love life after 35 years of marriage. Anticipation, absolutely. Right?
You going to leave it there?
Right, we'll let the play go. What did we say?
Anticipation, tension.
Tension, well, unfortunately, yeah, drama, I can only hope.
Anticipation, tension, drama in the NFC West.
You know what? And with St. Louis losing New Orleans, obviously with the way this game's going and the way this thing pans out the rest of the way, this is getting very real for the San Francisco 49ers based on who they have left to play. The fact that Seattle and St. Louis have to play one another again.
And again, we go back and take a look at the schedules after play today. And I mean, let's be honest here, okay? The Niners are going to go to 5-8.
But look at this.
Seattle to 6-7. St. Louis to 6-7.
If they can beat San Diego on Thursday night right here. Oh, wrong one. Excuse me, guys. Right there. San Diego. They've got St. Louis and Arizona. They can control their fate in the division. Then they've got Arizona, who's not playing very well right now. This thing is going to go down to the last game. That's just the way it should be. I'm excited about it. Yeah, don't look at me like that.
Incomplete. Two guys in the same area. He got a piece of Martin's hand and had another receiver. Golden Tate standing right behind him.
And I started the thought a minute ago, Tom. Friday at practice, I got to tell you, the 49ers, that was as quiet and as subdued. Wasn't a particularly sharp practice. Not a lot going on. I commented to the guys that were out there watching it. It was, you know what? I don't like the energy here, you know. And here they come out and play like this. This is they will build on this.
43-yard field goal try by Murray. Wide right. Don't forget Friday, January the 7th, one of the most anticipated bowl games of the season. The LSU Bengal Tigers take on Texas A&M. Our exclusive coverage of a 75th AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic live from Cowboy Stadium. Comes your way 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, January the 7th in high definition on Fox. Pat Summerall.
Oh, how great is that?
Legendary voice.
How great is that?
For so long in the NFL, we'll be on the play-by-play of that one, and we're very excited to have him back.
Well, the 49ers, as they, a minute ago, we were talking about the practice, Tom, and as a coach, I've long given up trying to figure out, does a good warm-up mean a good game? Does a good week of practice? I know a bad week of practice doesn't bode well, but a good week of practice sometimes, yes, no. Like I said, Friday, it was not a lot. There wasn't a lot going on, yet here they come out and play like this. They got to feel good about where they are right now.
You know, conversely, you, along with our very distinguished producer, Bob Stenning, both felt there was a lot of good mojo in our conversation with Pete Carroll and Matt Hasselbeck in Seattle coming into this game.
They were. The way they finished the Carolina game, they on Fridays now, they're not even practicing on Friday the last couple of weeks. They just go through a walkthrough. Pete Carroll felt like they needed that freshness. He was feeling good about the freshness of the team. And then you come out and you play like this. This is kind of a head scratcher, but you don't have a lot of time to figure it out because you got to dial it up next week. He, like the 49ers, will sell his team. Guys, I know that wasn't good, but we're still in it. Let's go back to work.
Dixon out of the backfield for a first down. And our game today being produced by Bob Stenner, directed by Rich Dewey. The technical producer is Bob Muller, and our technical director is Glenn Wilhelm. Our associate director, Wayne Wilson. Our broadcast associate, Mr. Bill Cullen. Our entire crew up here in the booth, as always, Tom Barbary, Scott Snyder. And we thank everybody, part of our crew each and every week, right here on Fox. You know, Brian, I like your point. You know, about the NFC West, that, you know, people can ridicule it. They can badger it. Chris Myers, you've heard a lot about this. You've done a number of games this year inside the NFC West, but somebody's going to win it.
Yeah, and a revitalization, too, even though it's just one day for Alex Smith, Tom, who this week with Urban Meyer in the news, retiring at Florida, of course, was Alex's coach at Utah. And they talk on a regular basis. Alex Smith said that he's the best coach I ever had. And he helped me through some tough times. 6 offensive coordinators, a benching in San Francisco, injuries. He's a guy I still lean on. And today, a 5th time in Alex Smith's career, he's had a 3-touchdown game, equaling Tom and Brian his career best.
And right there is something he used to do a lot of under Urban Meyer when Urban was at Utah.
And again, you forget what kind of athlete Alex Smith is. You're going to see the guy come off the edge. He's not buying the pitch fake. Normally this has got disaster written all over it. He's not a great guy outside the pocket, but he's a better athlete than you might think. And you know what? This is a test for Alex Smith, too. Being up the way you are, you're going to run on first, run on second, now convert on third. Quarterback, don't put us at risk. Don't turn the ball over. There's a lot of pressure with that as well. He's answering the call today on a lot of different levels.
Third down and 3, and Smith out of the shotgun. Right through the hands of Crabtree. May have thrown it a little too firm.
That one had a little heat on it.
And really most of these numbers by Smith put up in about 2.5 quarters.
Yeah, that's impressive. Brian Westbrook, huge game. Obviously what he can lend to it. Resting him all week didn't turn out to be too bad a thing. Alex Smith loving what he's seeing today, but they got a short week now against a very good San Diego Chargers.
Is it a very good team?
Well, we're going to find out. They should be.
I mean, they're 500.
Yeah, we're talking the AFC West now. Pick your poison.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
I mean, you know, that is a team that every year is among the most difficult teams to figure out in the NFL is San Diego. They start slow, come on strong at the end. And
they've had their share of injuries too, though. You know, with Vincent Jackson being out, the tackle, obviously Antonio Gates been up and down. Not to make excuses for it, but everybody has to deal with the injuries. Yep.
Friday, January the 7th. It is at Cotton Bowl, brought to you by AT&T right here on Fox. January the 7th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And when I mentioned Pat Summerall will be back on the part of our coverage, he'll be part of the pregame show coverage.
I don't care what he's doing. I'm just glad he's back and listening to him. He can just sit in the booth and watch for all I care. I just like the idea that he's back at it.
He's going to be doing an interview with the great Jim Brown. How about that?
Wow. Now that one would be worth dialing into.
Pat Summerall and Jim Brown. Leon Washington, a rare carry.
You know, and Seattle's capable of being a team to bet. We've talked about it in the open. This is a Jekyll and Hyde team. You know, they really are schizophrenic. They look terrible one week. They come back. They look bad one half. Come back the other half. They're going to have that challenge in front of them. But I think the NFC West is exciting. We're going to see them again against Tampa in 2 weeks.
Got to tell you, though, Brian, you know, again, when you wake up tomorrow, you're going to look at the newspaper and look at the standings. And Seattle is going to be tied for first with St. Louis because both of them are going to lose here today. But, I mean, I could be 100% wrong, much like the way, you know, we watch practice on Friday with the Niners and the conversation with Seattle. But to me, when you look at this game today, this is a very humbling and devastating loss for this Seattle team, knowing who you're playing. And I don't care where you're playing them. You're playing a team that has lost 8 of their 12 games. All right? And you are getting drilled here today. And you've got Atlanta and Tampa Bay, your next 2 games. This could be the one they look back on. We'll talk about it more when we return. Manny Lawson shaken up, but able to get off the field under his own power. He appears to be all right. We're down to the final 3 minutes and 59 seconds. First down for Seattle, who trailed 30-7 at halftime. Pretty nice move right there by Washington. And he has the first down to the 47-yard line. Went right by C.J. Spillman. Well, what about what we were talking about, Brian, about this loss today for the Seahawks?
You know, you can always have a bad game, but in the division, this late in the season, this is a tough one to come back from. You know, we saw the beat down that New England had on the Jets on Monday night, and you wondered, okay, Jets are a good football team. How are they going to rebound? Well, right now they're struggling at home against a Miami team. A loss like this can linger, and it's a challenge for you as a coach. How do I draw their focus back in? Now, they're in the middle of it, but now San Francisco's that game back. You had an opportunity here to put San Francisco down. Anytime you can put someone in your division out, you put them away. With obviously St. Louis losing New Orleans, huge opportunity lost by Seattle. How are you going to respond to that next week?
Catch made by Martin inside the 10. Another beautifully thrown ball right there by Hasselbeck. Some might say too little too late, but a good throw nonetheless.
And I think we saw there, particularly with Reggie Smith closing in on it, the rules, the lack of head-to-head. At a different time, you might have tried to light him up to get him to knock the ball out.
Golden Tate to the 2.
But this is part of it too, Tom. Now, okay, the game's out of reach, but now how are we going to respond? Pete Carroll can build on this. Right now he's thinking, get me a score. Let me get an onside kick. Let my offense get back on the field. Give me something to teach and build on going into next week. And that's exactly what this series here is about.
Leon Washington chopped down by Taylor Mays along with Travis LeBoy.
And the same is true of Mike Singletary and the San Francisco 49ers. You've got a big win. Let's finish strong, guys. We're not going to do much this week. We're going to have a couple walkthroughs. We then have to go down to San Diego.
Well, they're going to try and get off a play before the 2-minute warning. Nope, they're not going to do it. Third down and goal. 2 minutes to play. Hasselbeck rolling, throws to the end zone, and that is a touchdown for Dion Butler. They've been shaken up on the plays, Butler. He appears to be pointing at his right leg. Just slipped underneath. Easy.
Oh boy, this you hate to see this late in the game.
Well, it was just a
cramp. Yeah, the way he grabbed it looked like maybe just the calf or something. Not that doesn't hurt.
Well, you hope that's all it is.
Yeah.
Although the way they come sprinting out with that bag, it doesn't look good. Golly day. Not good at all.
Yeah, we don't want to speculate. Could be any number of things there. The way he reached down and grabbed it. You know, the players are concerned about him, but you need the players need to get out of there. Let the professional people get at it. Right now, you're just kind of in the way. Always concerned about the teammate. Late in a game like this, you hate to see it.
Yeah, this is clearly not just a cramp. This young man is in a lot of pain, and I mean, without even hesitation, they came sprinting from a sideline. It looks like an air cast of some kind. They're bringing out a splint. Out comes a cart.
And the medical people in the National Football League, I got to tell you, across the board, every team are the absolute best. I tell you what, the job they do.
Take a look at some of the other late games around the NFL. A number of them. I told you, St. Louis just getting drilled in New Orleans. Saints might be the hottest team in the league right now.
Yeah, and they're getting healthier and healthier. That's why next week you said we're going to be with them in Baltimore. Heck of a game. That Jets game, we'll see how that holds up. But the way they got beat against New England, you wondered how they were going to respond. Arizona coming back against Denver. Obviously the coaching change with Josh McDaniels being let go. New England, how impressive is that?
Well, you understand this play is under review with under 2 minutes to go. As they will cart off Dion Butler. Our thoughts and prayers are certainly with him. Yeah, I want to get back to a couple of teams and ask you about real quick. As we take a look one more time, the right leg. Oh, yeah, he got kicked by the other player. Question was, did he have possession? He had possession all the way. I mean, there's not even a shred of doubt, but watch his leg, right leg. It flies out in the open, and right there, with a defender coming across, and that looks like a pretty significant injury.
Yeah.
We wish you the best, young man.
And they're in a review to see if the ball came out. I guess looked like a catch to me.
All right, while they review it, let's send it back to Kurt Menefee quickly in Los Angeles.
All right, Kansas City and San Diego. The Chargers running away with this one. Ryan Matthews, 15-yard run for the score, and it puts the Chargers on top 31-0 late in the third quarter in a huge game in the AFC West. The win pulls San Diego within one game of first place and the Chiefs. Tom?
While this is still being reviewed, Brian, I want to ask you about a couple of teams. Every single week you're watching film of teams all around the NFL. Let's go back to the Jets quickly. You know, now here's a team that everybody talked about their defense. New England lights them up. The question I would have for you is, does this team have enough offense?
Let's see what they come with the rule.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Hard to believe that would take that long.
Yeah, that's.
All right, so what about the Jets?
You know, the Jets are a real team. We coming into the season.
Really?
What was the question? How well will Mark Sanchez play? During the course of the season, you felt like he was getting better and better. As of late, you have some questions, particularly in critical situations. That still remains the question right now. But yeah, they're a good team. They've got the good, solid defense.
Well, we know
they can run the ball well.
But I'm asking you though. I mean, right now, and he's only in his second year, so by no means am I sitting here trying to pick on Sanchez. But right now, I mean, is it not a legitimate question? Is he good enough right now to lead that team to a Super Bowl?
Well, he was good enough last year to get them into a championship game. You know, is he better than he was last year? Yeah, in my opinion, he is. Is he good enough to win a championship? We're going to find out. That seems to be the question now. He has gotten better. The last few games we've seen him against some pretty good football teams, and I'm interested, like I said, with how they responded to Miami as a team, not just the quarterback position. This is a concern for the Jets.
Hang on now. I want to ask you about Chicago. I mean, I'm not sure there is a team in the NFL that has a record that they have, and they're deserving of a very good record. Only 3 losses going into play today. But I'm not sure any team has caught more breaks in terms of when they play people. This guy's hurt, that guy's suspended, this guy gets hurt.
But that's part of it too.
Yeah, right, but let me ask you, now when they play a team that is healthy and among the legitimate titles contenders, and they are humiliated at home, what does that tell you about
right
bad
now,
game?
Tom Brady and the New England Patriots are making everybody look pretty average right now. So you have to factor in who they're playing as well. So yeah, this is getting exciting. You know, the league wanted this as we come down to the edge. I can't remember a close to a season that had as many storylines as we're developing right now in this league.
All right, for you, the last 3 weeks of the year, and I know I'm springing this on you, and so there might be something you miss, and nobody could blame you for that. But as you go to the last 3 weeks of the season, who are the 3 or 4 teams you look at, you say, it's going to be fascinating to watch them the last 3 weeks of the year? Not only will they get in or not get in, but whatever it might be.
New Orleans and Atlanta, that combination, who's really the best, that's going to be fascinating to see. New England, are they really this good? Are they really separating themselves? We're going to see Baltimore next week against that New Orleans Saint team. That's going to be a huge test for one of those teams to really show whether it makes a difference. I'm not sure that the loser of that is really going to take a huge hit in terms of making it into the playoffs, but in terms of validating, yes, we are truly that good. You can't dismiss the Pittsburgh Steelers, obviously. They're going to be a factor in this. So, and Chicago is a good football team. Obviously, they found out today against the caliber of the New England Patriots, and we've long talked about the AFC versus the NFC. it's getting interesting. I don't think we can be dismissive of the New York Giants. I have no idea what's going to show up when they play, whether they're going to Detroit, you know, and then have to come back and play Philadelphia. I'll tell you who's under the radar right now, because just the way it's happened, is Philadelphia. Michael Vick is playing as well as anybody, maybe an MVP year, and all of a sudden we haven't seen or talked much about Philadelphia. So this is really getting fascinating, and we've talked about the NFC West. This is going to be a fun division to watch, to see how it ends up. Forget whether they're going to go deep into the playoffs and whether they deserve it or not. This is going to be exciting football in Seattle, in St. Louis, and in San Francisco for the last couple weeks of the season.
Well, you're not lying about that. All three teams have a shot. All three teams are under 500.
And you heard today, this is a perfect example. We're in this stadium. What happened with the first two passes? What happened to the fans? They were booing, you know, and now they're pretty excited. It's amazing. 3-hour time, all of a sudden your world changes.
Well, you're not lying. Mine changes every 3 hours. I'm with you on Sunday. (40-21). The 49ers' hopes are still alive in the NFC West. A short week to get ready for San Diego on the road. Seattle will limp home to play the best team in the NFC next weekend, the Atlanta Falcons.